They're trying to keep that reactor cool. They're not able to pump in fresh water. They don't want to pump in seawater because once you do that, that plant is toast. It will never run again. It is over. That's $1 billion that's gone. But they have no other alternatives. If they're going to keep it cool, they've got to pump in some water. So they're pumping in seawater, which is salty and corrosive, along with boric acid, which reduces the number of neutrons being created. I won't go into that. But the bottom line is they're at the last resort to try to keep it cool because they're trying to avoid a meltdown. And so far, it appears as if that's been effective. Earlier in the day, there were some questions, and I can go into that, but it looks as if that is working, and that's good news.
Sanjay, at this point, as I said, there's an evacuation zone around this Fukushima Daiichi plant of 20 kilometers, about 12 miles. They've evacuated some 200,000 people. But we've heard that as many as 160 people have tested positive for some level of radiation, either on their skin or their clothes, and they continue to test people. What do they, in these tests, is this, how do they do that, Sanjay, and what actually does radiation do to the body?
Well, I mean, they're testing to see if, in fact, you know, there's been some evidence of some of these radioactive substances on the people. So, you know, they use special measuring devices to do that. As the professor was talking about, there's all sorts of different things that are given off, radioactive materials that are given off as part of this fission process. The concern is, are some of those starting to leak? Now, one thing I want to point out, and I think the professor is alluding to this, is that even if the numbers are higher than normal, there's a lot of redundancy built into the system, meaning that even 8 times higher than normal, 10 times higher than normal is still would be considered safe in the scheme of things. It might be similar, for example, to getting a couple of x-rays. Now, what it can do, acute radiation sickness, if you get a high dose and you get it, and you're very close to the source, all the cells in your body that sort of replicate quickly. Think about the cells in your intestines. Think about your hair. Think about your skin. All those cells that are replicating quickly could be affected. Your bone marrow. So you get nauseated, you'll get fatigued, you may start to lose hair, you'll get rashes. Your bone marrow could be affected, so your immune system will be compromised. That's a high dose of radiation very quickly. People who are further away, getting smaller doses as a result, may have more subtle sort of signs. They may get some of those signs, but not be as severe. They may get, concerns in the long run, decades down the later, about increased cancer risk, such as leukemias, such as thyroid cancer, which I was talking about earlier, because of the radioactive iodine and its effects specifically on the thyroid gland. So you can really categorize, Anderson, the dosage and the distance. And as you get lower dosage and further distance, the severity and the range of these types of effects start to decrease.
Jim, when you hear that the government has evacuated an area of 20 kilometers around the Fukushima Daiichi plant, and they had extended that, originally it had been a smaller amount, and then they extended it. I mean, are they planning for a worst-case scenario with that, or does that seem conservative to you?
Well, I think that's about right. They may have done it. Perhaps they should have done it a little earlier. But listen, Anderson, if you are pumping seawater into a nuclear power plant, essentially riding off the plant, then you're nervous. And when you're getting to that point, you better take some action. You better evacuate people. And so I think that was the proper course of action. Again, that doesn't mean we're going to have the nightmare scenario. There are still some lines of defense here. I started the day at 5:30 this morning being worried about, because not only is it unit number 1, it's Fukushima unit number 3. They're now doing it with that. So that wasn't good news. But as the day has gone on, the news has improved somewhat. So I'm a little more confident than I was before. But you don't wait till the last minute to evacuate people, especially in a tsunami. You know, after an earthquake, you have to start that process sooner and get ahead of the curve. So I think they've acted properly.
Again, Jim will be calling on you, no doubt, a lot in the coming hours and no doubt in the coming days as well. We'll talk to Sanjay as well. As I said, we're on for these 2 hours live from Japan. When we come back, we're going to take you back into Sendai, going to show you the latest from there on the rescue and recovery efforts, and also the long lines of people waiting for food, trying to get water. Surviving the quake, surviving the tsunami is one thing, but then you have to continue living your life, and just getting basic supplies, gas, is very, very difficult. We'll show you all of that ahead.
trains are part of the economy. By getting goods to market efficiently, CSX is helping move the economy forward. CSX, how tomorrow moves.
The deeper you go, the more good things you learn about oil and natural gas, an industry that supports 9.2 million American jobs, with 20% new jobs in natural gas alone since 2006. And from the energy and manufacturing plants to the fertilizer on the farm to the building blocks for tomorrow's medicines, we're fueling all kinds of jobs. So, the next time we discover more oil and natural gas together underground, think of all the good that means above ground. Log on to learn more.
If you have the audacity to believe a financial advisor should talk with you, not at you. If you have the nerve to believe meeting eye to eye helps you see eye to eye.
If you believe access to your financial advisor should be a right, not a privilege.
Join the nearly 7 million investors who think like you do. FaceTime and Think Time make a difference. Join us.
Join us. Join us.
At Edward Jones, it's how we make sense of investing.
Deadly fallout, but what's the real nuclear damage? Picking up the pieces after Japan's quake. A special Piers Morgan Live, Monday night, 9 Eastern.
WHL Hockey is live on Shaw. Catch the NHL stars of tomorrow today. Don't miss the excitement when the Brandon Wheat Kings and Moose Jaw Warriors drop the curtain on the regular season with the final contest at the storied Crushed Can. Tune in Friday, March 18th, 7 Mountain, 8 Central for great junior hockey action. The Western Hockey League, building the world's finest talent. WHL Hockey, only on Shaw.
I'm an artist. My best friend is an amazing photographer. Our other buddy's an awesome athlete. All of our dreams are coming true because the Legion believes in and supports the talents of youth in our community, like us. Like you.
Why not add your voice to the community? Become part of the Legion, to where belonging matters.
Anderson Cooper, live from the Quake Zone in Japan. CNN Monday night, 10 Eastern.
Seen so many amazing reunions, and that's one of the sort of the glimmers of hope that we've seen in these last couple of days, and at times it's hard to hold on to hope around here. There is so much still yet to be discovered underneath that wreckage, and again, it wasn't just the earthquake. In fact, most of the deaths that we're seeing have come from the tsunami, from the waves that struck afterward, and these new pictures that we've been getting from when the tsunami struck, and we've been getting more just today, have been truly extraordinary. You really get a sense of seeing it up close, just ripping through streets, people trying to run for their lives. It's just been extraordinary. And again, these videos, which we're going to be showing you throughout this hour and a half, it's just hard to comprehend. You kind of just keep looking at them, and you can't believe that it's real. And yet, of course, it is all too real. I want to go to Kyung-La, who's in Sendai, Japan, as she's been for quite some time now. Arrived, was the first reporter, I think, from CNN to get into Sendai. A lot of lines you're seeing of people looking for food right now, Kyung-La.
Well, Anderson, this is what people here in this line are saying is the potential second crisis. We've been showing you all this video of people getting rescued out of those tsunami zones. Well, what awaits them on dry land is this. This is a store, a grocery store. It's not even open. They're opening their doors trying to just sell 10 items each to all these people. This is a line that wraps around the block. It is hours long. And let's go ahead and just show you, that's not even the end of the line. Let's show you all of what they have to go through. So these people then have to wait in this line, and what they're aiming for is right over there. The grocery store is closed. There's no power. Each of them are going to get the chance to buy 10 items, most of them opting for food and cup of noodle. What they're all telling us is that they need items. After they've been evacuated, they don't have power. They don't have rations. And on this corner, that's this store, there's a store over here. The line has gone down significantly in the last few minutes or so. But there's
10 items,
over there,
that's all you get.
So 3 stores just in this one
10 items, that's all you
get. If you drive through the city, this
you
is
can
the
pick
city
out
that
10
repeated over and
things
over
you
again.
want to
So,
buy.
this second crisis that the people
But
here
that's all you get.
about is one of
That's all you
food
get.
and water, vital supplies, Anderson, that they say if they don't get,
Vital
they're worried about what's going to happen if there's going to be a panic among the people who do
Can't
end
get
up getting
them, there's
rescued
going
and
to
then
be a
end up
panic
on dry
amongst the
land.
people. After you reach your evacuation,
December has about, I'm told, about 1 million people in it. Any sense of what percentage of the city was actually, directly impacted by the tsunami, by the earthquake?
well then you gotta have your rations. 10 food items. The store isn't really open.
If you think about the actual
It's just
tsunami
allowing
and earthquake and zones,
you to come
that's
in
the
and
best
get
way to think about it.
something.
Closer to the shoreline, and this varies depending on how we look at a shoreline, because remember it's very jagged. Some parts are limited to about 2 miles in. Other parts of Sendai, 6 miles in. Right now it's very,
And
very
the
difficult to tell
line
the exact
goes all
impact zone
around
of the
the
direct
block,
tsunami.
all around the
And as
store
far as
now.
victims and numbers,
If
many
we
of those
could
people
help
are still
them,
buried
we
under the water,
would.
still buried under the rubble. The rescuers who I've spoken to say
could
they've got to
help
wait
more,
until that
we
water
would.
recedes so they get an accurate picture of how many people are being impacted.
What can
Many
the
look
world
at the
do to
earthquake
help
zone.
you
There's no
right
power
now?
Here. There are many
What
buildings
can the
that
world
are
do
destroyed
to
or shut
help
down
you
in
right
the center
now?
of the city.
10
So,
items
as
or
we bring
less,
out
that's all you
different
get.
zones and where the
Well, at least
earthquake
they
that
got
impacted, that's really where we're starting to see a bigger picture. It's very difficult to tell.
Devastation everywhere. It's not easy to be there without
wherever you're watching this around the world.
everything you
This
have.
was 3 days ago.
It's all been taken from
We're
you.
learning new information every hour, frankly, here on the ground, and it seems very slow, certainly to the people in the affected area. But there's a lot of folks rushing to this area, trying to do the best they can. We're seeing a lot more Chinook helicopters, large-scale big helicopters in the sky, ferrying supplies and obviously bringing in troops and the like to help in the rescue efforts. We'll have more from Kyung later on. Let's go to Soledad O'Brien, who, as I said, is about an hour north of